Bing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard Flight 914. Please fasten your seatbelts and observe the no smoking sign. We will take off in 5 minutes.
Dude, this video
When we're
is
at our cruising altitude, refreshments will be served to you. Our flight will take
And now it's 70
years.
degrees.
I
Lol.
wish you a pleasant trip. What would you do if you went on a vacation to another city
Alright.
and suddenly found yourself in another country altogether?
I don't know what I would
adventurous
do.
types would even enjoy such a change of plans. But
I
most
would
of us
enjoy
would be
a change of plans,
confused.
yes.
Anyway, I bet even the most reckless of adventurers would at least raise an eyebrow if told they'd flown for close to half a century. On July
Half
2nd,
a century?
1955,
50
Pan
years?
American Flight 914 made its
A century's 100 years, right? Yeah.
way from New York to Miami, Florida. It was a fine, sunny day, and 57 passengers on board the plane.
Okay, let me just point out something real quick. All these guys are freaky as hell. Look at this bitch right here. Look at the guy right over her shoulder. Look at this creepy motherfucker. Look at these guys. Look at these two. This girl got style. Goddamn, this is the only girl on the entire plane with style, I bet.
We're looking forward to seeing the warm beaches and palm trees of Florida.
Pog,
The plane took
Florida!
off without trouble, but 3 hours later, when it should have already landed at the destination airport, it was nowhere to be seen. Radars
Gone.
of the control tower in Miami didn't show any approaching aircraft, and no distress signals were received either. When air traffic control contacted the New York
Facts,
tower,
real facts.
they got a perplexing reply. Flight 914 just disappeared from the radars in midair.
I don't understand how that
Everything
happens.
indicated
It
that
just
the plane
disappeared.
was lost. Apart from having vanished from the radars, air traffic control couldn't get through to the pilots with the radio. The DC-4 simply vanished into thin air,
How?
leaving no trace of itself or any of the people on board.
But how?
Investigation was started right away. The flight route took
Yeah,
the plane
Bermuda.
over a
Look,
part
it
of
went
the
right through.
Atlantic Ocean,
Bermuda
and it seemed
Triangle
that the
right there,
only
baby.
explanation of its vanishing
That's
was
right in
that
the
it
Bermuda
crashed
Triangle, right there.
somewhere along
Bah,
the
it's
way.
like bah, bah, bah.
Rescue teams were deployed. The Coast Guard was scanning the waters, but
I just want to see this rescue team's gonna do a lot finding someone in the ocean on their boat, on their nice boat with the wave. How do they expect to get over this wave? This wave is taller than my fucking screen. You can't see that. You can like on the right, you can barely see the top of the wave. How the fuck they expect to get over the get out in the
Still
ocean
no
in that
luck.
tiny little boat?
not a single piece of the lost plane was to be found. Investigators
Probably because you looking for it in a little fucking dinghy. You should get a better boat, bro.
scanning the waters,
Maybe you have
but
a better chance
still
at finding
no
them.
luck. Not a single piece
Goddamn.
of the lost plane was to be found. Investigators could only shrug their shoulders in dismay. 61 people,
It's gone.
passengers plus the crew,
Eh.
just blinked out of existence, along with a huge flying machine. Eventually, although the case was never really solved, there was an official statement that the plane crashed,
Yeah.
taking the lives of everyone on board. But despite
Damn.
numerous and understandable questions from the grieving relatives, no one could say what really happened to Flight 914.
We don't know how it happened, sorry.
Until 37 years later, at least.
Oh, 37
Change
years
of
later.
scenery. It's now September 9th, 1992.
37 years
and
later.
we're in Caracas, Venezuela.
Caracas.
It's a perfectly normal day for Juan de la Corta,
Shout
air
out
traffic
Juan.
controller at the Caracas airport.
Hell yeah.
He
Shout
turned up
out
at
Juan.
work, made some coffee, and took his seat, overlooking flights.
That's some nice coffee.
He was giving some minor comments on a flight in progress when something weird happened. Seemingly out of nowhere, a new dot appeared on the radar. It was as if an aircraft had just popped up from nothingness, or as if it had been hiding from the radar and now decided to show up.
Bop.
Either
It's
way,
out of
it
nowhere.
was a strange thing to see
That's
near
terrifying.
a civil airport, and De La Corta checked the reading several times, thinking at first that it was a mistake. It wasn't, though.
The
The
music,
readings
though.
were correct, and soon he and his colleagues were able to see it with their own eyes. In less than 10 minutes, the culprit showed up in the field of vision. At first, it looked to the air traffic control like an ordinary airplane.
Normal
But as it got closer,
airplane.
they could see that it was, in fact, a very old DC-4 McDonnell Douglas passenger aircraft, still with propellers instead of modern turbines.
I don't
Such
understand.
planes were still in use, but they'd grown obsolete.
Shout
and
out to
mostly
Pan
replaced
American.
by more contemporary ones. But that wasn't even the beginning of weird. The real confusion began when the pilot of the mysterious aircraft contacted the tower and asked in English, "Where are we?" As the one in charge at the time, Juan de la Corte replied they were closing in on the Caracas airport and asked where the flight was headed. There was a pause on the other side, and then the pilot answered, "We are Pan Am Flight 914 headed from New York to Miami, Florida, with a crew of 4 and 57 passengers on board." This took the air control completely off guard. What was a Pan Am flight doing 1,100 miles away from its point of destination?
That's terrifying.
And how did it even get there? De La
You're
Corte
asking
was
me.
quick to ask a few more questions to the pilot, and what he heard next baffled him. The pilot said his flight was scheduled to land at the Miami airport at 9:55 a.m. on July 2nd, 1955.
What?
Now it was time for the tower to fall into silence. Before asking anything else,
How does
not to
that
make matters
happen?
worse, air control cleared the plane for landing.
Shut up, you fucking ad. Rudely interrupt me. Bro, they hit it. They went to another dimension. 100%. They went to another dimension. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I do not give a fuck. Sorry, not sorry.
De La Corte didn't know what to make of the pilot's words. Perhaps he thought he went insane, but
Probably.
that was irrelevant since there were people on board the mystery airplane.
How is that
He had to make
insane?
sure they
Wait, how's that
landed safely
irrelevant?
and decided he would ask
Wait,
questions when
what?
he did. Ground units
What?
were immediately called to assist the plane and the passengers, and it landed without trouble. Having relaxed a little bit, Juan finally decided to ask something that bothered him. Did you know today is May 21st, 1992?
Oh, that's where you fucked up.
Another pause that ensued.
You don't
told him
tell
it
someone
was
that
a
you
huge
time
mistake
traveled.
to say that.
Yeah, you don't tell someone you
As the balloon
time traveled,
approached the
dog.
airplane,
What?
The pilot's bewildered voice
You don't just
on the
tell them,
radio
yeah,
said,
bro, by the way, it's 37 years later.
When De La Corte heard that, he knew he would have to order security guards to go to the plane and escort the passengers and the crew. However, as they were moving towards the aircraft, the pilot did something nobody expected. Juan heard the flight captain's panicking voice saying, "No, stay away. We're leaving now."
Fuck!
And indeed, he started the engines again and without
What a
waiting for
bitch-ass
takeoff
pilot,
plans,
bro.
taxied the plane to the
We could have figured out, like, time travel and interdimensional travel, but this ignorant-ass pilot's just like, no, stay away.
runway. Juan
What
tried
an
to stop
asshole.
him over the radio, telling him he was creating a dangerous situation.
That guy could have been rich as fuck, baby.
But the pilot didn't respond. He simply drove to the runway, accelerated, and took off. For some time, the plane could be
Bye-bye,
seen in the
sorry,
air.
not sorry.
Soon, it only appeared as a dot on the radar, and then it vanished again. No words could describe the shock Juan de la Corte and his colleagues at the air control tower were in. They
Hey,
had just
buddy,
seen an old
yeah, you just time
airplane
traveled, by the
appearing
way?
out of nowhere. The pilot
He's
telling
like,
them he was
oh,
headed to
fuck
Miami.
this.
And before they could do anything, it flew away again, only to disappear in thin air like it had been a collective hallucination. No trace was found of that plane ever again.
Bruh.
And to this day, no one can explain what happened that morning in Caracas. Smell that? Smells kind of fishy, right?
Yeah,
I must say, though,
it does.
there's
does
much
smell
dispute
fishy.
about the credibility of this event. Back in 1985,
If he just told us this whole story, like it was real, and then brings up a bunch of facts to show that it is 100% not real, I'm disliking the video.
a tabloid called Weekly World News was the first to cover this story. And yes, I just said 1985, 7 years before the most popular version appeared. Later, the same newspaper retold the story twice more, only with other details, and with 1992 set as the date of the time-traveling aircraft appearing in the future. The picture of Juan de la Corte, the air traffic controller in Caracas, also differed from the 1985 original, so the story was largely announced fake, and it became sort of an urban legend. However, the legend
Oh,
still lives,
you
and resources
fucking bitch! Fuck you! 31,000 other people had the same exact feeling as me. Oh my god. Really?